What up, boy? Just woke up. Woo! It's a jolly nice day, I can tell you that. No, it's a nice day. Welcome. Thanks for checking out my channel. So, I've always had a fascination with Taoism. I think it's one of the great religions, obviously, of the world. More importantly, even though I'm not completely a convert, of Taoism, I still feel like incorporating all of the various practices that they offer in their systems of thoughts do improve my own explorations into spirituality. So, first, let's see. I got this book. Interestingly, my dad got me this book years ago. I never took it seriously because I was a kid. What the fuck did I know, right? But it's called 365 Tao, Daily Meditations by Deng Ming-Dao. Okay. Now, I've gone through a bit of it, and I can say it's really one of the best in sources of inspiration on the source connection to the greater reality, whatever you want to call that, God or whatever, that I've seen. It really does offer unique, keen insights. Now, I know it's based on the Tao Te Ching, but at the same time, the author went to great lengths to sort of extract and essentially just make this as accessible as possible while still preserving the significance and the important meaning behind the Tao Te Ching. Right, so basically, we're gonna start. I'll go with you. If you're joining me on this journey, welcome. So for 1 year, we will read just one page a day, try to contemplate it, and see what happens. See what happens to our practice. Simultaneously, apart from this book, there's another important book by Stuart Olson. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Embryonic breathing, the Taoist method of opening the Dantian. Now, opening the Dantian is, just look up its location. It's 3-4 and it's slightly lower, finger widths below the belly button. Opening the Dantian is basically equal to creating the immortal fetus. Basically, that's what this book should be called, or fusing yin and yang. And again, this is mostly taken from ancient tablets from previous dynasties and previous masters, and this author tries to simplify while still giving the actual correct methods, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, I really love the illustrations here. I don't know if you can see them clearly, but yeah, it's a tiny little book, it's what I knew. It was less than 100 pages, right? Literally slim as hell. It seems like, oh, what can this offer? No, it can offer you a lot, trust me. So we're also, now I've read this back and forth 100 times, right? And every time I read it, I find out something more and a way to deepen my own practice, right? So apart from going through the daily meditation, 365 Tao over here, we're also going to do embryonic breathing, which is the main thing he promotes, as well as swallowing salivary jing. Basically, I'll get into it elsewhere, but basically saliva is a crude form of jing that you can refine and use to increase the amount of qi that you have. We'll also be doing that. On top of that, we'll also be doing celibacy for a year and a month, basically 100 days plus 9 months. 100 days to create a fertile field in your lower dantian, 9 or 10 months to grow the egg. All right, now my egg is already like fairly thick at times, and so I'm not a complete rank beginner. I sort of know a lot about this, but at the same time I would like to open my dantian. I would like that very much. All right, that being a very loaded phrase. Okay, so welcome. If you're completely new, I'll try to make everything as simple as possible, and please, if I get anything wrong, just understand, number one, I'm not Chinese, right, and I'm getting this information secondhand, through other people, right? And number two, I genuinely have no malevolent intentions towards you, right? I don't want to mislead people. If I say something that's incorrect, it's because of my own ignorance. All right, so let's begin. 365 Tao, page 1, beginning. I don't know if you can see very well. Can you see that? It doesn't matter. I'll read it out loud to you. Beginning. This is the moment of embarking. All auspicious signs are in place. That's the little poem. The way this book is structured is there's a poem, I think, taken from the original text, translated in English, along with a Chinese character on the right hand side, and then the English explanation for what we just read. Okay. In the beginning, all things are hopeful. We prepare ourselves to start anew. Though we may be intent on the magnificent journey ahead, all things are contained in this first moment: our optimism, our faith, our resolution, our innocence. Isn't that just such a profound statement? The whole point of cultivation, the process of refinement, spiritual refinement, meditation, all those things is just to bring what we imagine to be our final goal from out there in like the mental realm into our physical reality, right? But if we stop and pay attention, it's the happiness we imagine we'd receive is already there with us. I'm extremely excited right now to begin this journey and see how it develops, right? But the funny thing is that feeling of excitement and happiness to be on this journey is ultimately what I'm looking for, right? What I'm going on this long quest to look for, but it's already here with me. I just thought that was an interesting observation. All right. In order to start, we must make a decision. This decision is a commitment to daily self-cultivation. Yes, without the practice, there's nothing. Without meditation, what are you really doing? Okay. We must make a strong connection to our inner selves. Outside matters are superfluous. Alone and naked, we negotiate all of life's travails. Therefore, we alone must make something of ourselves, transforming ourselves into the instruments for experiencing the deepest spiritual essence of life. Yeah. And the hardest thing about cultivation it isn't the mechanics of cultivation. Syllabus is easy. Okay, once you get your mind around it, once you develop some tricks to handle it. Okay, practicing meditation is pretty easy. What if you take care of your body? You don't, abuse your knees or anything like that. Meditation, okay, it's hard. It's a hard thing, but it's very simple. I'll put it that way. The hardest thing about cultivation, I would say, is just the loneliness of seeing your own life in a very raw and a very naked way. Meditation, ultimately spirituality is about self-examination, right? To see how has my life gone so far, or how do I see my life going, and is this what I want, out of existence. And it's a very lonely thing. You can, even if you have a teacher there with you, you are going through that path by yourself. And ultimately, in a very interesting way, like what you get out of that path is what you put in and nothing else, basically. That's one of the hardest things about spirituality. It's accepting your own responsibility for your own life. And I don't know what to tell you. It's not easy. Once we make our decision, all things will come to us. Auspicious signs are not a superstition, but a confirmation. This gets into the law of attraction stuff, right? When you're in the process of manifesting things, like you see signs all over, like it's actually fucking crazy. Now, are you seeing those signs because you're mentally focused on a certain object, or is it the preparatory stages of like manifestation occurring? That's up to debate. I can say for sure, anytime I'm trying to manifest something, on the same day or the day after that, I see some weird ass coincidences coming up. Alright. Auspicious signs are not a superstition, but a confirmation. Right? They are a response. They are a response. They say that if one chooses to pray to a rock with enough devotion, even that rock will come alive. That goes into, and the thing I like about Taoism is that it's very similar to other Eastern religions. Well, to an extent, it's similar to Buddhism, specifically Vajrayana, which is what I practice, and similar to some aspects of Hinduism, right? And Jainism, of course. But the central concept of ideas like mahamudra in Vajrayana, the great seal, the great sign, is that all things, there's a poem by Lord Naropa, who was a very well-esteemed Mahasiddha, and he said essentially a summary of Mahamudra, which is one of the highest ideals now. All things are your own mind. It's a wonderful, beautiful poem. Homage to the state of great bliss. All things are your own mind. Seeing something as external is basically a delusion. And I highly encourage you to look it up. The summary of Mahamudra. Okay. This is basically what it's saying, right? Now, whatever God you can imagine to exist, like Christian God, Muslim God, whatever, all the 30-something million gods in India, wonderful culture. right? Or all the gods in Africa, my own homeland, right? That entity, any entity actually, including me and you, we don't exist outside of your own mind, all right? What the fuck does that mean exactly? It means that, okay, there's this underlying, like, sort of universal mind that we all share. This is the theory behind it, right? That, and due to the attention it places on whatever object, that object sort of like comes to reality, right? Whereas the mind, the universal mind itself has no form, has no identity, and it just exists on its own, right? So the point of meditation, by the way, is to revert back to that universal mind, which is just a pervading awareness, not even in any particular location, like, while at the same time is everywhere, right? Whatever god or person you see, a plant, anything, a rock, whatever, it has the properties of that universal mind, because it shares the same sort of consciousness at a very deep fundamental level that we do. And so when you look at a plant, let's say I'm looking at one of these beautiful trees over here. I don't know. Can you see them?